Hey, what's up guys? I've recovered enough now that I can start talking again. My voice is still a little bit off. I got really sick from my trip to E3, and I'm starting to feel a little bit better now. So, I've had a ton of requests to talk about the big Super Street Fighter V leak, and pretty much just hear my thoughts on the whole thing, especially about the characters, who they're adding for Season 3, and the new game modes and such. So that's what this video is going to be about. Now, I'm going to warn you guys right now that this is sketch, real sketch. There's basically no strong evidence to support that this leak is actually true, especially not as strong as the leak for the rest of the Season 2 cast. Now, there were some things data mined in the past that do support the leak, I guess you would say, especially the new game modes that they're adding, and also a very suspicious tweet from Alex Vi, who somehow named the exact characters in this leak before the actual leak was posted, so that's a little suspicious. But do I believe this leak is true? It's not that far-fetched, so I would say yeah at this point, but still you want to take this with a grain of salt. So as far as I know, this leak was first posted on Reddit. I think it was on Kappa, so I'll be sure to provide a link to this leak in the video description below if you guys want to read it yourselves. So, first off, Super Street Fighter V will be a new DLC expansion coming in Season 3. Now, first off, this is going to be a free update, okay, for everybody. I mean, it absolutely has to be a free update. It's the only way to not screw over the people that have already bought Street Fighter V. And just also another thing is that it would also be really bad if they charged it, because it would split up the community as well, and we'll be put in a situation where like only people that have Super Street Fighter V can play with people that purchase the expansion, right? We don't want that, especially when the game is still only for PC and PS4 and probably always will be. It's not on the Xbox, right? So if they did make another disc for the game as well, I think Capcom should include the Season 1 and Season 2 characters, have them already unlocked on the disc, just because, someone who's actually never played Street Fighter V and coming into this game that late in Season 3, I think would be missing like too many characters by that point, and you definitely want to give them extra incentive to just want to pick up this disc raw. If they I doubt they would have it like as a full retail game or as a disc in general, but just if they did, just give that extra incentive, Also, let's not forget that Capcom promised that Street Fighter V will only be on a single disc. That's what they said before the game launched, so they would have to like stick to that promise. But even if they broke that promise, like who cares at this point with just all the taboo that Street Fighter V has, so I guess it wouldn't really matter. Honestly, the whole point of this expansion slash DLC thing is the rebrand. If this is true, Capcom definitely wants to rebrand this game and give it like a fresh start and basically sell it as a different product. The impact would be so much higher calling this Super Street Fighter V rather than just, Season 3 Street Fighter V, right? That would just sound lame. Since Street Fighter V just brings so much baggage with that from all the way from the launch, right? With not meeting the sales target, the poor reviews because of the lack of content, all the issues the game had at launch as well, with the online not working and such, it made a lot of people sell their copies straight up of Street Fighter V, or simply just not care to pay attention that this game actually has received updates and actually has some content now, right? And there has been a lot of changes to it. So, this is a great way of saying, a new Street Fighter game is out. It's called Super Street Fighter V, but really, it's just a DLC slash expansion. It's just a smart way of Capcom to do it without, charging people and bringing out that second disc. Also, with the rebrand, we'll get new game reviews, right? Which means new scores, a new Metacritic score, new advertising for the game, get rid of the stigma like I just said, and like I said, get new players, get the player base bigger, right? Not keeping players playing Street Fighter V, but getting new players into Street Fighter V. It's something that I'd hope that they would do for a really long time now. I think it's a no-brainer, and it's pretty much business 101 to just rebrand your product. So let's start talking about what Super Street Fighter V will bring to the table, what kind of content it will have, and features, and then of course we'll talk about the roster. So first off, arcade mode will be added. So this is one of the last biggest complaints the Street Fighter V right now, content-wise. Whether people care about it or not, it's more about the principle at this point. The absolute basics of a fighting game traditionally is arcade mode, versus training and online. And arcade mode, just we have to address like the big elephant in the room. It's missing. It sticks out like a sore thumb. It's just something that Capcom has to add in. And in order for Capcom to pitch Super Street Fighter V as this huge complete new expansion, this new game, it definitely has to have arcade mode included, because that's the first thing people are going to be looking for. This also creates a new opportunity, I would say, to do something fun with arcade mode in Street Fighter V. Hopefully, Capcom doesn't just do like a dry, solo AI thing. Hopefully they make it, rewarding, like give fight money, for example, depending on the difficulty of the AI, something to grind, for example, or earn colors maybe, and just, give a mode to blow off some steam, besides just playing online competitively all the time, right? So another feature that will be added is extra battle mode. So this was actually data mined by Xcura a while back, showing some features of this mode already partly in the game. It allows you so far to just fight against non-playable characters, it seems, that were featured in story mode, like the Capri, for example. Capcom also officially mentioned this mode, extra battle mode, in one of their blog updates. I don't remember which one. But, and they said they'd give more details in the future, but it was a while back, I think, so they still have yet to explain what this mode is about, so we'll find out later. They'll also be adding some kind of PvE against the Illuminati. This is probably some kind of boss mode or something that would give us some kind of challenging AI to play against, or has something to do with, like, the Street Fighter 3 storyline that they probably will be introducing soon. And honestly, the more offline content, the better, and definitely more stuff for us to earn fight money with, to unlock more of these characters. A second giant cinematic story mode is also coming to Super Street Fighter V. Capcom said they're going to be, adding chapters to the big cinematic story mode in the future, so this is no surprise at all. The first one kind of ended on like a cliffhanger, I would say, and we want to see how these events transist into the Street Fighter 3 storyline. Also, with the recently leaked characters like Abigail, Minot, and Zeku, it would be nice to see how they fit in the storyline as well. Now, this leak list also says they'll be expanding on some existing mechanics. It would be nice if I heard some specifics. There's been a huge request for more defensive mechanics in this game. As V reversals aren't that strong, they don't cut it enough. There should be things that help deal with throw loops, for example, and 50-50s are very strong right now as well. Recently, the jump back option select has been removed from the game, which makes it even harder to deal with these situations, especially in pro play. Special moves were added to the game recently with the new balance patch for Season 2, so it'd be nice, to see some even more special moves added to characters to definitely spice things up, on top of course, a new big balance patch that we will be getting for Season 3 no matter what. I also think they should be adding, special attacks that burn V-Gauge. That's one of the new mechanics that I'd like them to add to the game. That would give opportunities to give characters like really powerful attacks that are also, you can't be abusable because they use the V-Gauge and the Super Meter, such as, Ryu's Donkey Kick, of course, is a really obvious choice that people want. Give Bison his Psycho Crusher, for example, but then make it so it can be used as a reversal to give him a reversal option, or just give Geef his Green Hand. These are just some examples I'm saying of moves that they can add that are like powerful attacks that would help their gameplay, but at the same time, make them limited. The game definitely feels like really stale right now, so hopefully they add something that gives more depth into the game, especially something that uses the V-Gauge. I would say offensively would be nice. So new critical arts will be coming to the game. I'm actually surprised that Capcom is going to be adding more supers to the game rather than additional V triggers, which would add a lot more depth to the game. But when you stop and think about it for a second, adding a brand new V trigger to every single character right now would take a ton of work, and it would be a balancing nightmare as well, especially to give incentive for you to think about, debate which V-trigger you actually want to use. I think the only real way to balance out adding additional V-triggers to the game is to also make it so that you gain a new V-skill as well, and they tie, you know, that this one specific V-skill has to be with this V-trigger. I think that's the only way to do it. So for example, like Chun-Li, she is a really powerful V-trigger. It's hard to top that. But her V-skill is not that good. So if they gave her a kind of a little weaker additional V-trigger that's not as good as the one she has now, it's like a one-time use, but then she had a strong V-skill with it, it might give the player incentive to choose one or the other, right? Necro would be another good example. It'd be really hard to give Necro a better V-trigger than what he already has. So once again, if they give him a one-time use and then they gave him like a really strong V-skill, man, Necro already has a really good V-skill, so I don't even know how they're gonna do that character, right? So it's just strange. Like I said, if they gave Ryu like a V-trigger that changed them into evil Ryu, for example, I mean, everyone is only gonna use that V-trigger, right? So it'd just be like an issue that Capcom would definitely run into. So the question is, with the new supers, how are they going to do this? So will every character just have access to 2 supers at once, or will they make it like a choice selection like they did in Street Fighter 3? Usually when you have a situation like this, there's always a superior choice, like I just mentioned with the V-triggers. Also, at the same time, giving a character 2 supers might be too powerful, especially in Street Fighter 5 where gaining meter is just so damn easy. You're almost guaranteed a super every single round. So for example, giving Geef an anti-air super would be extremely strong for him, and yeah, he would just have so much options. So yeah, knowing if they're going to add a second super, I'm curious on what Capcom's going to do. Maybe they'll just give every character a counter super. We'll see. There's also apparently going to be a UI overhaul, which I'm really excited for personally, out of all the things on this list, because I think that, you know, the health bars and the super bars in this game could definitely use an update. Also, it helps with rebranding the game, honestly, a UI. Because, you know, if a spectator watches this game, maybe they randomly come across this on a stream or something, and they see the new health bar and super bar, they're like, what Street Fighter game is this? Is this a new Street Fighter game? And then of course it'll bring the awareness like, oh, it's Super Street Fighter 5, right? So it helps with the rebranding, and honestly, it just gives that, you know, fresh paint smell kind of thing. The menu could also definitely use an overhaul to the UI for sure, as well as the shop to navigate is a nightmare, and watching replays in general is just tedious, and could definitely use an update. Alright, let's talk about the Season 3 roster now, which I'm sure you guys care about the most. This has also been leaked for Super Street Fighter 5. We have Sagat, Sakura, Oro, C.Viper, Q, and Necro. So right off the bat, we have 6 returning characters, no brand new characters. 1 from Street Fighter 2, 1 from Street Fighter Alpha, 1 from Street Fighter 4, and the rest from Street Fighter 3. So let's start talking about Sagat. I think this will be hype to start the season off with Sagat. Definitely one of the most requested characters to come back, and one of my favorite characters. He's you know, basically a no-brainer story mode wise, since we last saw him missing from Shadowloo, and Fang took over his spot. So I'm curious where Sagat will land, on what his motives are for the game, and you know, I wonder what Capcom is gonna do with this character and make him look. They're probably gonna give him hair at this point. He's gonna be gentle Sagat. As for gameplay, Sagat will probably be really powerful if they kept his fireball game exactly the same. So I wouldn't be surprised if Capcom tweaks him a bit and they say that, like, you know, his story mode made him gentle and they changed his move list. We'll see. His V-skill will probably be Angry Scar. Alright, moving on to Sakura. I don't care if I pronounce her name wrong. So this is probably one of the most popular characters still missing from Street Fighter 5. I know a ton of people that would literally come back to this game or just straight up pick up Street Fighter 5 on this character alone. So she's a really powerful character that Capcom needs to bring into this roster. I think she'll transition nicely to Street Fighter 5 as well. She is a Shoto character after all. I hope Capcom makes her look a lot older too. I think that'd be cool. I think this would be like the furthest down the timeline that we've actually seen her. So let's talk about C.Viper now. We already have Jury as a returning character from Street Fighter 4. I also think C.Viper would be another good choice out of all the Street Fighter 4 characters. I think of all the Street Fighter 4 characters, like C.Viper would just bring the most, just because she's pretty unique and she's a high execution character. El Forte would be annoying if they brought him back. Rufus has a dive kick. Capcom doesn't like dive kicks. Hakan would be cool though, so he would be another choice. I don't think Abel is popular enough, and Seth is just dumb. Okay, so now we have 3 characters from Street Fighter 3, which is a lot. I'm actually surprised by this. It's Oro, Q, and Necro. This kind of makes sense if you think about it though, because you know the big story mode ends with Gil, and we're getting close to that Street Fighter 3 storyline, so maybe they want to use a lot of Street Fighter 3 characters now. Oro would be a good addition for both gameplay and story. The Tengu Stones would probably be his V-trigger, most likely. Q and Necro though, I'm not really sure. There's not too many unique characters left to bring from Street Fighter 3 that have already not been brought in Street Fighter 4, for example. Young, Yang, Makoto, Dudley, Hugo, Elena, they're all in Street Fighter 4 already, so they want to definitely bring something we haven't seen in a long time. The only other real choice you have is 12. You know, because Sean and Remy, you know, they're not going to really add anything gameplay wise. It'd just be for the fans to bring those characters. I'm sorry guys, but you know, it's true. I guess you could say Necro would not really bring anything gameplay wise, but then there's 12. From a story perspective, I don't know if 12 has more of a personality than Necro does. Q's V skill will probably be his taunt, and his V trigger will probably be some self-destruct explosion. That'd be awesome. It would be nice to expand on Q's storyline, since he's a very, very mysterious character. Necro we've seen on the Halloween stage. We'll see how they design his gameplay, as like I said, he's pretty much a hybrid of Dhalsim and Blanca. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah guys, let's wrap this up. This is getting pretty long. So do you guys think this leak is actually true? If it is, I'm sure there will be you know, a ton of other stuff added to this, not just from the list alone, like stages, you know, and costumes and such. And do you guys think that you know, this will get people back into Street Fighter 5 if they rebrand it and call it Super Street Fighter 5? If this leak is true, I would expect this to be announced probably just before or during or after CPT Finals to kick off Season 3. So let me know what you guys think about all of this. Don't forget to like the video and be sure to subscribe to the channel, guys, as of course I'll keep you updated on more fighting game content in the future, especially as I recover. So yeah, till then guys, take care.